If you run a real estate agency in New South Wales, you already know your business isn't quite like any other. You handle other people's money every single day, deposits, rent, advance payments, and you do it under some of the strictest financial rules that apply to any profession. On top of that, sit a set of tax issues that are genuinely specific to real estate. GST on your commissions, the personal services income rules, the right business structure. Get all of this right, and your agency runs smoothly. Get it wrong, and the consequences can reach all the way to your license. I'm from Quantum House Australia, chartered accountants, tax advisors and registered auditors. And in the next few minutes, I'll walk you through what really matters in the numbers behind your agency and how the right accountant doesn't cost you money, but protects it. Here's what we'll cover. First, why a real estate agency genuinely needs a specialist accountant. Not just any accountant. Then your trust account obligations and the annual trust account audit that goes with them, including the deadlines you can't afford to miss. We'll clear up a GST misconception that costs agents real money every year. We'll touch on business structure, the personal services income rules, and the deductions worth getting right. We'll be honest about the cost of getting it wrong, and then I'll show you exactly how Quantum House Australia helps agents like you stay compliant, stay informed, and get on with selling. Let's dive in. Let's start with why this matters so much. A real estate agency is not an ordinary small business. The moment you receive money on behalf of a client, a rental payment, a deposit on a sale, an advance, you step into a strict financial framework. There are rules about where that money is held, how it's recorded, and an audit you must have done every single year. And all of that sits on top of the normal tax and BAS obligations every business has. So the stakes are unusually high. A compliance failure here doesn't just mean a please explain from the tax office. It can mean penalties, reputational damage, and in the worst case, the loss of your license to operate. That's why a specialist accountant who genuinely understands the real estate industry isn't an expense to minimise. It's protection worth having. So let's talk trust money. Under the Property and Stock Agents Act 2002, here in New South Wales, any agent who receives money on behalf of a client must hold it in a dedicated general trust account with an approved financial institution that covers rental receipts, deposits on property sales, and advance payments. The rules are clear, and they're not negotiable. You must keep detailed records of every dollar of trust money received and disbursed. You must reconcile the trust account at regular intervals. And, this is the absolute line, you must never use trust money for the agency's own purposes. If you manage rental properties, those rental receipts flow through the trust account too. None of this money is yours. You're holding it on trust, and the law treats that responsibility with the seriousness it deserves. With a trust account comes an audit. Every agent who held trust money during the year must have that trust account audited, and the report lodged with NSW Fair Trading. Now, here's a detail that matters. The audit has to be done by a qualified auditor under Section 115 of the Act. That means a registered company auditor, or a member of one of the professional accounting bodies, CPA Australia, Chartered Accountants Australia and New Zealand, or the Institute of Public Accountants, holding a current public practicing certificate. The auditor must also be genuinely independent. They can't have been an employee or partner of your agency during the audit period. What do they actually check? That all trust money has been properly accounted for, and that the trust account balance reconciles exactly with your individual client trust ledgers. As registered auditors, this is precisely the work we do for agents at Quantum House Australia. Now to the dates, because in trust accounting the calendar is everything. The audit period is the financial year ending the 30th of June. From there, you have 3 months. The audit must be submitted to NSW Fair Trading through their Auditor's Report online system by the 30th of September. Miss that deadline and the consequences are real. Fair Trading can issue fines, and a late or missing audit can put your license at risk, including disqualification from holding or renewing it. There's one sensible exception. If you genuinely held no trust money at all during the year, you're not required to lodge an audit. But you should still let Fair Trading know that's the case. My advice, as it always is, don't leave the audit to September. A clean, painless audit comes from records that have been kept properly all year, not pulled together in a panic at the last minute. Now here's the one that catches agents out year after year, and it can be expensive. The myth goes like this: because the sale of an existing residential property is input taxed, the agent's commission on that sale must be GST-free too. It sounds logical. It's also wrong. Here's the reality. Your commissions and your fees are a taxable supply. You are providing a service, selling, leasing, or managing, and that service attracts GST at 10%, regardless of whether the property is residential or commercial. What's input taxed is the property in the owner's hands, the residential rent they receive, or the sale of their existing residential home. That treatment belongs to the owner, not to you. So once your agency's turnover passes the $75,000 threshold, which it will, you must charge 10% GST on your sales commissions, your property management fees, and your letting fees alike. And you can claim back the GST on your business purchases. The practical tip: always quote your commission as plus GST or GST inclusive, because if you don't, you can quietly lose 1/11 of your fee to the tax office. Getting this right across every revenue stream is exactly the kind of thing a specialist accountant handles in their sleep. Let's talk structure, because how your agency is set up affects both your tax and your protection. In New South Wales, a licensed company can hold a real estate license and employ agents under its umbrella, and many principals use a corporate or trust structure for asset protection and tax planning. That's perfectly legitimate. But there's a catch you have to respect: the personal services income rules. If income is substantially a reward for one individual agent's personal efforts and skills, which in real estate it very often is, the tax office may treat it as personal services income, and that limits your ability to split or retain that income in a company or trust. Whether the PSI rules actually bite depends on the facts. Things like the results test, the 80% rule, and whether you're running a genuine independent business with staff and systems. This is nuanced territory, and it's precisely where good industry-aware advice earns its keep and saves you from a costly mistake. Of course, it's not all obligations. There are real deductions to claim, as long as you claim them correctly. As a real estate professional, you can deduct your licensing fees and professional development. You can claim motor vehicle expenses, and given how much time agents spend visiting clients and inspecting properties, this is often significant. But a word of caution: motor vehicle claims are a well-known focus area for the tax office, especially for sole trader agents, so keep a proper logbook to support your business use percentage. You can claim marketing and advertising costs, your office, software and technology expenses, and home office costs where they apply. The goal is simple: claim everything you're genuinely entitled to, substantiate it properly, and never give the tax office a reason to come looking. A specialist accountant makes sure you do both. Let me be candid for a moment about what's at stake, because it's the heart of why this matters. Going it alone or relying on a generalist who doesn't know the industry, the risks stack up quietly. A trust shortfall that goes unnoticed, an audit lodged late, GST undercharged on commissions for years, leaving you with a back tax bill, a personal services income mistake in your structure. Each of these on its own can mean penalties, unexpected tax, or in the worst case, your license. Now picture the other side. With a specialist accountant, your trust records are clean, your audit is lodged on time, your GST and structure are right from the very start, and you have a clear, honest picture of how your agency is actually performing. That's the real point. The right accountant doesn't cost you money. It protects your license, your time, and your peace of mind. So here's exactly what we do for real estate agents. First, we prepare and lodge your annual trust account audit, on time, every year, as qualified auditors under Section 115. Second, we help you keep clean, reconciled trust records all year round, so the audit is a formality rather than a fire drill. Third, we get your GST treatment and your BAS right, and we structure your agency tax effectively, with the personal services income rules properly accounted for. And fourth, we handle your tax compliance and returns, and we review your business performance, so you don't just stay compliant, you actually understand what your numbers are telling you about the agency. It's the full picture, compliance handled, and genuine insight on top. Why Quantum House Australia specifically? 3 reasons. We're registered auditors, qualified to prepare and lodge your trust account audit under Section 115. so that obligation is handled by people who do it properly. We bring real industry knowledge. We understand trust money, agency GST, the personal services income rules, and the structures agents use. So you're getting advice tailored to real estate, not generic accounting. And we're a year-round partner, not a once-a-year visitor. Proactive support and performance insight whenever you need it. And when a matter calls for legal input, a dispute, a structuring question, a regulatory issue, our colleagues at Australian Tax Experts, who are tax advisors and lawyers, can advise alongside us. One relationship, the accounting and the law together, working for your agency. Let's pull it together. 1. Trust money means strict rules and an annual audit. That's non-negotiable. 2. The trust audit is due by the 30th of September each year, lodged with fair trading. 3. Your auditor must be properly qualified under Section 115 and independent of your agency. 4. Your commissions and fees are taxable. GST applies whether the property is residential or commercial. 5. Your structure and the personal services income rules need specialist, industry-aware advice. And 6, the one to remember, the right accountant protects your license, your time, and your peace of mind. Get these right, and the numbers behind your agency stop being a worry and start being an advantage. And getting started couldn't be simpler. It begins with a conversation. We learn about your agency, how it's structured, and where things stand today. From there, we map out a clear plan. Your trust audit, your GST, your structure, and your tax, all scheduled. So there are no surprises and nothing slips through the cracks. And then we provide ongoing support through the year, keeping you compliant, keeping you informed, and freeing you up to do what you do best, which is selling property. Most agents are genuinely surprised by how much smoother things run with an accountant who already speaks real estate. There's no learning curve to manage, no explaining the basics. We already understand your world. So let me leave you with a simple invitation. Whether you need your trust account audited, your GST and structure reviewed, or simply a specialist accountant who genuinely understands real estate, Quantum House Australia is ready to help. We'll take the compliance off your plate, make sure it's all done properly and on time, and give you a clear view of how your agency is performing. Visit quantumhouse.com.au or call our Sydney office on 1300 809 697 and ask to speak with a senior advisor. Quantum House Australia, accountants, tax advisors and registered auditors, setting a new standard. Thank you for watching, and we'd love to hear from you.